Shalom, shalom. This is Brother Amon. We'll come back with another lesson. First and foremost, as always, I'll give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kakudash, and double honors as always to the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. So yeah, man, I'm just gonna get on it, man. The destruction is on its way, man. Everything that is happening right now is leading towards the destruction of Babylon and other places on the earth, but mainly the main target is Babylon, aka America. Right? Why? Because of all the evils that they've done, what they've done unto the Lord's people, what they've done spread amongst the people on the earth. Ultimately they are headed by the leading Edomites, man. Now that place is wicked, so it has to be destroyed. So you got Trump is on the mad one right now, trying to take over the world, man. Basically, he's trying to take over the world. And what's going to happen is, we're going to get to the point, after the prophecies come to pass, there's further prophecies to come to pass before the ultimate destruction. We talk about Jacob's trouble, we talk about the MOTB, and many other plagues that are going to come upon the earth. When it talks about plagues, when the scriptures talk about plagues, it doesn't mean, literally, it does mean diseases as well, but it doesn't mean just that type of thing. It means just woes, man, troubles on the earth. When you're plagued with something, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a disease, it just means you're troubled. Right? So, all what's happening, all this proud behavior that's coming out of Babylon, America, is ultimately for its destruction. So let's just get reading, man. This is Isaiah 13:1. It says, "The burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see." It says, "Lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain, exalt the voice unto them." The high mountain is the rulership, right? Mountains often represent governing bodies in the scriptures, and who's the governing bodies? Esau, Edom. Really above them is Amalek. But they're part and parcel. So it says, "Exalt the voice unto them, shake the hand, that they may go into the gates of the nobles. I have commanded my sanctified ones." Who are the sanctified ones? That's the elect. I have also called my mighty ones from mine anger, and then those angels are coming with Yahweh Shai, man, right? It says, "Even them that rejoice in my highness." Remember, when that comes, when that time arrives, man, the elect and the angels are going to battle. Or it's not even going to be a battle. It's going to be an annihilation. Alright? It says, verse 4 says, "The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord of hosts mustereth the host of the battle." Talks about gathering together, man. That day of the Lord's judgment, man, down in the valley of the Lord's judgment, you had the valley of Jehoshaphat, or Yehoshaphat, right? So, there's going to be great destruction on the earth. It says, "The Lord of hosts mustereth the host of the battle." So that the word hosts means our army, or armies. Joel talks about gathering the nations, man, into the valley of Jehoshaphat. So where the Lord is going to judge these nations, man. Right, for the wickedness, Job 3:2, for the wickedness of what they brought upon the earth. It says, they come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even the Lord and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. So what's the they? It's those nuclear missiles, man. Here it is that you have you have America going around trying to make sure that nobody else has got them, but obviously we know they have them. They must have them, right? Because they're going to use them to destroy that place. Or they're going to be used, I should say, by the Most High. It tells you that in Isaiah 64. They're the Lord's tool. He says he has created the waste to destroy. Reading on, it says, therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt. Yeah, everyone is going around like these super powered beings, and all this might and bravery. But you're going to see in that day, man. You're going to see those that are going to crumble, right? It says, and they shall be afraid, pangs and sorrow shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames. Yeah, their faces shall be as flames, because they're going to get flamed up, man. That those nuclear devices, the heat is going to come off, man. Scriptures talk about that, man. Trying to think what that scripture is, man. Let's read on. I know when I get it. Where was I? Right, yeah. Right, verse 9 says what? It says, behold, the day of the Lord cometh, cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate. That land is America, right? And he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. And the sinners are our people, really, because the rest of the heathens have not been given the law, right? So they have to be destroyed for going against the Most High. It says, for the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. It's going to be a day of darkness and gloominess, man, the scriptures say. Right? And I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity. And the wicked is the so-called white man and his people. Right? They are the wicked. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and I will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. Yeah, the pride is going to be brought very low, man. It says, and I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of her fear. Therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place, in the wrath of the Lord of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger. Right, I got that one actually. I'll come back to this. I don't want to forget it. Man, I might as well, I want to finish. I'm going to read that because there's a lot in there. I'm going to finish here, and then I'm going to go to there. Right, so back in Isaiah 13. So yeah, 13 and 14. It says, and it shall come, and it shall be as a chaste roe, and as the sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee everyone into his own land. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through. Everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. So everyone's going to get destroyed. And if you're, the scriptures say, no hand joined in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished. And if you're siding with them, man, you're going to get it too, man. Right? Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. You know. So, there's a lot of there's a lot to get into, man. There's a lot of destruction coming to Babylon, aka America, man. Why? Because they've done a lot of things on the earth. This is all the Lord's plan. Says the Lord's plan anyway from the beginning. This is just playing it out, man. What's going to happen is, all these countries are going to go together. They're dealing with one of them right now. Iran's going to be one of this. See, this is what I said. They're kicking up the dust, man. They're bringing about their own destruction. Which is, it's all written anyway. But what they don't realise is who they're messing with. They think they got the power over them. But the Lord is dealing with Iran. Right? The Lord is dealing with them. Because what? I read it anyway. So it says Babylon will fall to the Medes. It says, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold they shall not delight. And the Medes, we had the Persians and the Medes, man. Basically is Elam and the Iranians, man. Right? They're going to be a part of that, alongside Russia and that, Gog. They're going to bring about the destruction of that place, man. Verse 18 says, their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. Now, there's not going to be actual bows, man. Those silos really are the bows. They're going to shoot forth the arrows, which are the missiles. It says, and Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their flock there. So there's going to be desolation in that place as a lesson to be learned, man. Right? But it says, but wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there. I'm not quite sure what that is. Let's see if it says what that is, man. He-goat. Let's check that. How was that spelled again? How's it said in fact? Let's see how it's said.
Strong's H8163. Sa'ir. Sa'ir.
Sa'ir. It says a Greek mythological creature, half man, half beast. I don't think. Well, actually, it says they're into the dancing. Let's get back into that in a minute. I want to dwell on it, but well, demons shall dance there. Hey man, that's going to be desolation, evilness, man. So hey. It says, and the wild beasts of the island shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces. And her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. So let's go here now. Zechariah 14:1 says, behold, the day of the Lord cometh, and thy spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee, and the spoilers of the nations and everything they own, all the the women and all that stuff and all their possessions shall be our possessions, man. Right? It says, for I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken, and the houses rifled, and the women ravished, and half of the city shall go forth into captivity, and the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the sea. Now he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity, man. Verse 3 says, then shall the Lord go forth and fight against those nations, as when he fought in the day of battle. And his feet shall stand in that day upon the Mount of Olives, which is before Jerusalem on the east, and the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof toward the east and toward the west, and there shall be a very great valley, and half of the mountain shall remove toward the north, and half of it toward the south, and ye shall flee into the valley of the mountains, for the valley of the mountains shall reach unto Azal, yea, ye shall flee like as ye fled from before the earthquake in the days of Uzziah king of Judah. And the Lord my power shall come, and all the saints with thee. So the saints is who? The Israelites, man, the elect, in fact, which are going to join in battle. With the angels, man, Yahushua is going to be heading this call to action, man. Verse 6, and it shall come to pass in that day that the light shall not be clear nor dark, but it shall be one day which shall be known to the Lord, nor day nor night. But it shall come to pass that at evening time it shall be light. But I want to get to the point now, because I read all that. So verse 12 says, and this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. That heat, that fervent heat coming from the nuclear destruction is what's going to do that. And now we always reference Terminator 2, where Sarah Connor's watching John playing in the park as a young boy, and the nuclear destruction comes, and she's holding onto the fence, and her eyes and her tongue and her just start burning up, and she's just holding on until there's nothing just but a skeleton left. This is very real, and it's going to happen, man. We want to be above that, right? We want to be watching that. In fact, let me quickly get that and I'll jump back, because we're going to be able to, Lord willing, with the number, and we'll be able to see this destruction, man. Ultimately, the Lord is coming to rescue us from this destruction, man. That's really what this is about. Or one of the main reasons. We want to be saved out of this impending doom that's coming. We want to be caught up in the air and avoid the destruction, man. Revelation 15:1 says, and I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of Yahweh. And the 7 just means completion. Alright? Because this is going to be the completion of the reign of this devil, man. By Esau Edom. And I saw, as it were, a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast, and had gotten over his image, and had gotten over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of Yahweh. And they sing the song of Moses, the servant of the Most High, and the song of the Lamb, saying, Great and marvelous are thy works, Lord Yahweh Almighty. Just and true are thy ways, thou King of saints. Who shall not fear thee, O Lord, and glorify thy name? And you see, you have to glorify the name of the Lord, man. That's important. It's paramount. Not everyone can do that, because not everyone is privy to the names. He says, For thou only art holy. For all nations shall come and worship before thee, for thy judgments are made manifest. Right, so meaning what has been spoken by the prophets, and what have been written by the prophets, and what have been put into the, what has been given to the prophets to speak and to write, is now coming true. Basically, people don't say, oh, you keep talking about this, you keep going on about this destruction, and when is it going to come? Well, listen, man, you keep talking, it's going to come, before you know it. Before you know it, man. Let me just get a few more, man, because I kind of made the point, it's not hard to make the point with just a few scriptures, but let's just get a bit more. It says, look at this, the terrible visitation. Now, some of these titles, or some of these headings of these precepts and these chapters are great, man. I can't really say anyone bad, to be fair. Joel 2:1, it says, Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand. And as we've already been reading about it, says the day of darkness and gloominess. Man, that day is going to be, you're going to know when it's that. Everybody's going to know when it's that day, because it's going to be a day like no other. You're going to see that the clouds looming over the darkness. Is going to be like a powerful spiritual darkness, man. I remember one time there was, I don't know what was happening, but I was at work, and there was a strange, it was almost as if it was that day, and I knew it wasn't that day, obviously, because, I was in the truth then, and obviously you understand the prophecies, you understand how things are supposed to go down, but it was it was almost like a sign to say, yeah, this is a taste of what it's going to be like. I can't remember how long ago it was, but I've never seen the sky like it. It was almost like everywhere the sky was like this dark red, and there was a weird spirit about the day. Anyway, reading on. It says, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains. A great people and a strong, there have not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. Because once this day happens, one's not going to need to do that again. He's not going to need to destroy anywhere that again, because his people, the Israelites, the elect, governing body, would be ruling over this earth. The Hebrews will know their place, and they not have any chance to even start any wars. That power will not be in their hand. They will not be they will not have any permission to be having any kind of technology to create anything of any form of destructive weapons, man. And they wouldn't dare anyway, because they're going to understand in those days that it will be futile. Verse 3 says, a fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is, and that's talking about the missiles again. It says the land is as the Garden of Eden. I mean, what do you think? People that scoffing, that's not talking about. What do you think it's talking about, man? A lot of them people out there, like the Christian world, don't even understand that World War III is in the scriptures, man. They talk about tribulation. That's what they think. They're talking about the 7-year tribulation of difficulties, and then Jesus is going to come back and save them. I say Jesus because I don't know how to say another name. It says, the land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness, yea, and nothing shall escape them. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen, so shall they run. And this is a vision, right? Like the noise of, that's why they describe this in this way, man. But now through the Spirit we have the understanding. Christians still believe that the Lord is going to come out of heaven riding a chariot, like with wheels on, with a horse. The chariot is a vehicle. It's another name for a vehicle. It says that the appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen, so shall they run. Like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains, they shall leap. Like the noise of a flame or fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people sit in battle array. Before their face the people shall be much pained, all their faces shall gather blackness. They shall run like mighty men, they shall climb the wall like men of war, meaning they will be able to infiltrate wherever they need to go. Alright? And they shall march everyone on his ways, and they shall not break their ranks, meaning that they're set, the course is set, man. Their direction is set, and they're not going to go off track, man. Neither shall one thrust another, they shall walk everyone in his path, and when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. Right? So, like I just said, they're going to hit their targets, man. They're not going to be hitting each other. Their direction will be clear. It says, they shall run to and fro in the city, they shall run upon the wall, they shall climb up upon the houses, they shall enter in at the windows like a thief. The earth shall quake before them, the heavens shall tremble, the sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. So you need to really do, I'm reading this because you need to, these are the types of things that you need to, contemplate, meditate on. Because when it comes around, it's going to be even more than what is being described, because this is just words, not just words, these are words, holy words, but, when it's actually in front of your face, visually, it's going to be something else, man. But hey, man, I don't say that with any sadness or fear. I'm just saying it, because in that sense, because it's a serious matter. But look, the elect aren't going to be fearing any of that, man. I'll read this last bit. It says, and the Lord shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great. For he is strong that executeth his word. For the day of the Lord is great and very terrible, and who can abide it? That needs to be understood, man. We came into this thing without knowing any of these things, and we learned these things. That's why the scripture talks about eating the whole roll and it being sweet, but then becoming bitter, because the knowledge is sweet, but then the true understanding makes you, makes it bitter, because you understand your oppression that you're under, you understand the trials and tribulations that you're going to have to go through. As much as we worship you, and we love being in the truth, no one wants to have to go through things like, no, we don't want to have to go through, but I understand that we must. Brothers don't want to get their heads chopped off, man. Brothers don't want to have to go through things, but the Lord has made it that way, and it has to be accepted. Right? I don't believe any brothers sitting at home thinking, yeah, I want to be tortured. No. Why would you want that? That's not normal. But the understanding is that that's going to happen. So what we want in those moments is to have the Lord give us the strength and the spirit to bring us through those things. That's ultimately what we want. And we don't want a spirit of lacking the spirit of fear is not the same as wanting those things to come upon you, man. The scriptures say some of you shall be beheaded in my name, right? Some of you. So not every brother's going to go through that sort of thing, but we're all going to have to be tried through the scripture says gold is tried through the fire and acceptable. Let me not butcher that. I'm going to read that and I'm going to cut it on that one, man. Wait, maybe that's not. How's it go again? I want to find it now, I'm determined. Maybe I'm not meant to find it. Alright, well I can't find that one, but let me bring out something relatable. Can't remember where it goes. Zechariah 38, it says, and it shall come to pass that in the land, that in all the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. Right? So, and that's talking about that land is Babylon, man. And it says, and I will bring the third part through the fire, and I will refine them as silver is refined. So that going through the fire is the that's refining us to be what we need to be in order to be in order for us to be worthy. In order for us to be worthy of what's to come. It says, and I will try them as gold is tried, and they shall call on my name, and I will hear them. And I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord Yahweh Shai is my power. So yeah, man, I'm gonna close it there, Peak times, man. But hey, good times are coming, man. We have to go through this, and then, all this will be over, We don't have to worry about any, sinning and any trials and tribulations and any devils or wicked people ruling over us anymore, man. But this must happen first. Anyway, no one is edifying. close by giving all the praises and all glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua Bashem Kak Dash. And shalom to the next one.